Kyle Wanglin. I just graduated from North this past summer. Some of my activities, other than example, I was the captain of the varsity basketball team this year, and one of the co-founders of a little thing we call Sweater Vest Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll hear a little bit more maybe on Sweater Vest Tuesday as that rolls out. Colson?
Yeah, I'm Colson Reggie. I'm a senior at North. I'm involved in cross country, basketball, and track, as well as NHS and student council.
All right. And over here on my right, Elena.
I'm Elena Brandt. I will be a senior next year. I'm involved in cross country. I play first base in softball. I'm in NHS, and I am the social chair in student council.
Great. And what I wanted to do today is to talk a little bit about a student group that we have over at Lutheran High School North, and also a little bit later in the show we'll be joined by Pastor Jonathan Baker, the assistant pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, as well as Nancy Donahue, the director of community programs for Macomb Family Services. We welcome your questions or comments on the show this morning, and to join our conversation, call in 866-423-9578. What advice would you be willing to give to parents to help them help you remain drug-free?
Well, graduating this past year, I've had my share of grad parties to go to, and I was shocked to see how many parents willingly supply their kids with alcohol knowing they're under the age of 21. And I think as far as advice goes, it's never too early to teach your kids about the dangers of alcohol. And to support your kids with alcohol, that doesn't make much sense to me.
You know, let me jump right into this and respond to what Colson said. What do you guys, how is your response, and we take a look at, example being this an anti-drug, anti-alcohol group, and one of the first responses is, well, yeah, but it's just a bunch of kids who have nothing else to do with their lives, and so they just, a bunch of nerds in the corner hanging out at an activity. How do you guys respond to that?
Being in a society where alcohol and drugs is everywhere around the corner, it's nice to have a place to go where you have friends that can hang out and avoid all that stuff. And yeah, you're gonna hear some criticisms about it, but doing a thing that you know is right it's a good feeling.
Colson, a little bit about who are the students that Example is trying to reach out to?
Well, it's for those who have decided not to have drugs and alcohol be a part of their lives, but also for those who have made decisions in the past that they're regretting and they're sorry for, and they want somewhere where they're not going to be criticized for this, where they know there's forgiveness and that they can live knowing that the decisions that they have made are forgiven and that they don't have to worry about that anymore.
I'll ask you, what can parents do to help you guys in this struggle with alcohol and drugs? And then we'll go into Pastor Baker. Pastor Baker segment, that'll take us out. So we'll start with you. We'll go to those questions. We'll get to the parents' question, talk a little bit about that, and then bring in Pastor Baker. Colson, you run cross country, you play basketball, you're also on the North's track team. A little different take here. As a three-sport student athlete, how important is it to stay alcohol and drug-free, and how does Example help you do that?
Well, I know it's very important because in order to perform at my best, I have to take care of my body, and doing alcohol and drugs, that puts a risk not only on how well I can do physically, but also mentally, and getting in trouble with the law. And I owe it to not only myself but my teammates to be able to perform at my best. And using alcohol and drugs compromises that, and that's not a risk I want to take. An Example allows me to know that there are also others that are involved in sports that have chosen not to do this, and that's strength too.
Yeah, that's a fantastic attitude. Let me ask you this, Colson. Why do you think more student athletes, if you will, don't have your attitude?
The pressure of it. They believe that since others are doing it and they're doing just fine, that it won't affect them, and some that do it are really good athletes, and they believe that that is what makes them good athletes, and they don't realize the risk and the danger that there is involved with the drugs and the alcohol, and the peer pressure as well, just others, their friends doing it.
What's that like, being involved in a group that, as unfortunate as it is, many high school students don't think it's important?
Well, it's definitely challenging because you're viewed as someone who thinks that you're perfect, and that you think that, like I said before, that you're better than everyone else, which is, totally the opposite. We're sinners just like everyone else. So it's challenging, that aspect, because a lot of times you feel like you're alone and you're the only person who thinks that, that you don't drink and you don't do drugs, and you think that you're the only person who does that. But that's why I like being involved in Example, because you see people that maybe you never would have thought, you go to an Example activity and you're like, oh wow, that guy's there. I never would have thought that he would be in a group like this. And you can make new friends and just surround yourself with, people who view the same thing as you do.
Kyle, God's blessings as you enter the next phase of your life. Let me ask you this. 5, 6, 7 words. Is Example worth it?
I'll take it one word. Absolutely.